All right. Hey, I'm Dr. Kate Walker. Welcome to your weekly group coaching. This is part of your Step It Up membership. And it's really, it's a cool thing because you can join through the Zoom link and you can tell your friends who are Step It Up members. You don't have to be on Facebook. All you need to do is go to your Kate Walker Training profile and you can find the link. It never changes. It's always going to be Thursday at 10, well, at least until we change times. But for now, it's 10 o'clock. So every week, I will either do a live training like this, where you can interact with me, or I will post something that we pre-recorded. Like next week, I'm taking the week off. And so David Frank is going to be a pre-recorded interview that I did. He is a financial specialist who specializes in helping therapists get their money together. So I came across him. He was providing a CE to Texas Association for Marriage and Family Therapists. And I saw that and I reached out to him and I was like, oh my gosh, you got to appear in my groups too. And he was like, sure. So he's going to be on the podcast. He's going to be in our group first. So it's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy we got him. And of course, you'll get all of the information to reach out to him and contact him with all of your money needs, which I hope you do. So I'm looking, I see Vicky. Hey, Vicky, I'm glad you're in the group too. I see you down there. So pop questions in as you see them or as you have them today. I'm talking to you about smart and pretty goals for the new year. So I think last week, I talked about money. So I showed you how to make a financial projection, and that can get a little crazy in the head because of spreadsheets. And, I can tell you how I like to do things and how I coach people to do things. If you're in one of my mastermind groups, of course, we will drill down and I will teach you and we'll find a way that works for you because I'll see you every week. But this week is really a little bit going, it's broader, but we're going to go from broad to ultra specific because my mantra is if it doesn't translate into a daily goal that you're actually going to do, then it's kind of bullshit, right? It's just something, and at the very, very worst, and the way I think about it is it almost becomes this thing that you dread. Right? Goals shouldn't be something you dread or that remind you, oh my gosh, I'm bad with money, or oh, I'm terrible with paperwork. If you find yourself kind of kicking the can or pushing that rock from quarter one to quarter two, and you're like, oh, I still haven't done that, quarter two to quarter three. Oh, I still haven't done that. We'll talk about that before the end of today's training, because that's real. And we all face that. We can't all be good at everything, right? So I will talk about that as well. So what I want you to get from our training today, I want you to have some specific criteria or areas to focus on as you create your goals for quarter one, starting January 2023. I want you to have a way to get them drilled down into something you can actually do every day. And I'm going to share my Canva with you. If you have never heard of Canva, Canva is a little addicting. I'm going to share how I do my vision board with Canva, because it's kind of the icing on the cake. I mean, you've watched me before. You've seen kind of this TV above my head. It's flashing images at my eyeballs because that's how our brain works. We notice things that are different. And so if it's something beautiful, like a beautiful house, or it's a picture of me and my husband, or it's an inspirational quote, that'll work for a little while, but eventually your eyes and your brain will get used to that. And so it's really important that you shift this stuff around. And I've got to take my own advice. I've been using the same reel for quite a while. And I'm like, ooh, Kate, this is a really good opportunity to clean your own stuff up. Because I get bored with things super quickly. Like I have a bulletin board. I don't even see the inspirational quotes anymore. I have to get them going and different and in places where I'm going to see them, like my car steering wheel. So let's start with the areas that I recommend that you create your vision board. We're going to start it first just as an idea. All right. No pretty stuff yet. If you start with the pretty stuff, no, you're cheating. We got to do the hard stuff first. So the 4 areas I'm going to talk about are wealth, sales, health, and well-being. All right. So wealth. even those of you who are like, but I'm not in it for the money. Well, you are in it to make a living, and you are in it to ultimately retire someday. So you're not a burden on someone else, right? You want to have enough money so that someday when you do need to be taken care of, right? And God willing, we all have that time when we need to be taken care of. You have the funds to be able to do that. Now, you may say, but I have a partner who's taking care of all that. Well, then one of your goals for the new year is to make sure you have all of those passwords, to make sure you sit down with y'all's financial advisor, all of you together, and you understand exactly what your investing strategies are. So a wealth goal is about taking money and paying yourself first, which is my second wealth goal, which is automating your money. I did a YouTube video not long ago about set it and forget it money management. I use Capital One. I create a dozen accounts and I create automated transfers. So I've got two daughters that look like they're going to be tying the knot at almost the same time, 2 years from now. And so I've set up savings accounts so that money goes in there and I don't have to think about it. Just it does what it does. So a wealth goal can be a dollar amount to set aside from your monthly revenue. It can be an automation goal that you create these accounts and you just automate this transfer. Or it can be something like learning Excel or learning QuickBooks. A funny story I tell about when I was doing my taxes for the very, very, very first time as an entrepreneur. And my accountant looked at me and said, here's a card, here's a name, go learn QuickBooks, don't come back until you have. And I was like, okay. So I took lessons on QuickBooks for like 6 weeks. I would go to this guy's office every week in a little town called Tomball, Texas, and I would learn how to do QuickBooks. And this guy, I mean, it was kind of funny. He'd sit there and he'd smoke a cigarette. And I mean, office is super smoky. And I'm just like, I got to learn QuickBooks. I had my little computer in front of me. He had a big computer. And by golly, I learned enough. So at least I could do my bookkeeping. So then I can hand that off because I know how to do it. So one of your wealth goals is allowed to be learning QuickBooks. All right. Second, sales. Now, sales can be numbers, right? Like dollar amounts, revenue goals. I know somebody in our practice grant giveaway for our task number 3 said they wanted to make 10K a month. That's wonderful. That's a great revenue goal, bringing in that $10,000 a month. Another revenue or sales goal could be how many 10-minute consultations you'd like to have in January. For the month of January, do you want 12? Do you want 15? Do you want 20? That would be wonderful. But if you've never done a 10-minute consultation before, first of all, go watch my YouTube video and then set a reasonable goal, like maybe one a week. So 4 10-minute consultations in the month of January, that would be a great goal, right? So if you had for the quarter 12 10-minute consultations and then you blew it out of the water and you had 20, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. So it can be a 10-minute consultation goal. It can be a dollar amount goal. It can be a session number goal. So how many sessions do you want each week or for the month? It could be conversion rate. So if you want to go back and look at one of the trainings we did that it's in your catalog in your Kate Walker training profile. Yeah, one of the trainings we did was about a conversion rate. So how to do your 10-minute consultation and you're talking and you're talking and you're talking and you're either creating a first session. So that's a client. You're creating someone who refers happily, right? You're sending them off to someone because it's not a good fit. And you're creating a raving fan, someone who's going to tell friends and family about how amazing you are. Right? So doing that 10-minute consultation, converting them into number 1, an actual client, you can track that, right? It's easy math. You take the number of 10-minute consultations you do divided by the number that actually show up to that first session. That's your conversion rate. It's easy to track that, and it's a great number for your quarter 1 goal. All right, let's keep going. Health goals. Now, this is where people tend to get a little obsessive. So I want to calm you down a minute, because I am going to talk about things that can be triggering, right? Because when we talk about health and numbers, the first thing that comes to mind is weight, right? You can count weight on the scale and the number of pounds, right? But you can also count blood pressure numbers or sugar numbers, right? So think about health in terms of those numbers, those healthy numbers. But if that's too triggering, that's okay. Put down, you can count the number of times you eat carrots this week. Or I wrote down how many times you go on a walk this week, how many times you are able to, get up out of your chair and walk around the block during a session day. How many times are you able to, you get the idea, right? So there are lots of health goals surrounding numbers that you can track, because remember, that's the key to this. It's creating specific, measurable, trackable, attainable goals, right? They have to be numbers. It has to be measurable. All right, let's go to well-being. Well-being, you're going to, and this is just kind of the sky's the limit. I wrote down, make a friend. So when you think about the group that you're hanging out with, are they gossipers? Are they dream crushers? Are they, and I'll pull back a little, are they the people who are like, oh my gosh, did you hear about that accident out on I-59 and this and that happened and 14 people? And those kind of people, or did you hear about the war? Did you hear about this, right? If that's your lead into a conversation, it can only go downhill from there. So imagine if that's your crew and you're trying to maintain this healthy entrepreneurial attitude, woohoo, right? Go make a friend who doesn't do that, right? Go make a friend who just says, oh my gosh, you look cute today. I saw a red bird. Hey, you want to see this cute picture of a cat? We all need friends like that who are going to help us keep it light, keep it positive, and keep our frame of mind nice and fresh and creative, right? That's what we're protecting, our creative space. The other thing, I put, do something someplace beautiful, anywhere, even if it's a park in your town, just go do that. Count how many times you're able to go and sit on a bench and breathe someplace beautiful. Now, this is where I'm going to mention, if these are things you've tried and you have not finished, I won't say failed or didn't succeed. I'm just going to say that you did not finish. Look, none of us ask for things that hold us back. If you find that this is like a boulder that you keep pushing from quarter one to quarter two, or quarter two to quarter three, and you're not energized and you dread it, and you even kind of suspect yourself sabotaging, then maybe it's time to treat the thing, right? This time of year, depression is rampant. Our fancy Christmas anxiety is out for everybody. So if you struggle with something, instead of beating yourself up because we're doing another exercise to get goals on paper, how about if you make a goal, a well-being goal for January, that you actually treat the thing, all right? Go to a doctor, go to, I don't know, maybe a therapist. Go get the thing treated. I'm doing something right now called Hollow Sync. I'm trying it out. It's like a 5-day challenge where you put your earbuds in and you listen to like rain and bells, and it's really relaxing. I don't know what it's doing to my brain, but it's something that I try everything. If it comes and it's legit, I don't try everything. I try it because I am always open to new ways to lift my mood, improve my mood, because I know that's going to improve my creativity. All right, moving on to how do we get this stuff down? How do we get it down to it's an actual actionable item? And this is my favorite part of the Step It Up membership, because I get to screen share with you guys, and I don't get to do that on anything else that I do, whether it's a YouTube, well, sometimes YouTube, but you guys get to see everything. I don't get to spend a lot of time with you, but you get to see everything. All right, so the first thing, let me pull it up before I screen share. I do a journal every year, And it's narrative. It's just, maybe I'm writing, just stream of consciousness. Maybe I'm reflecting on a book. And you can see, apparently I wrote quite a bit in 2020. I don't know what I wrote. Wrote a lot this year too. But I've been doing this since 2013. I call it 1 month to live because at my church in the Woodlands, they wrote a book and they did kind of a book study on it. And I liked it. It was about a daily reading to help, you understand kind of things you would change if somebody told you you only had 1 month to live. So that's what I call my journal. It's a 1 month to live journal. And I set my goals there, all the ones that I'm telling you about and more: wealth, sales, health, well-being, and relationship. I didn't mention relationship, but I put those goals in there. When my kids were little, of course, I had parenting goals and goals for them and all that. So it starts with the narrative, the brain dump. Let's get it all out on paper. Let's let it do whatever it's going to do. No punctuation, or all the punctuation, whatever you feel comfortable with. So from there, I make it into, I color code things. I like to color code. So I take my goals, I create colors for them, and that's when they get to move into Trello. Now, if you have watched me before, you know that I love Trello. Trello is an organizational tool. And it looks like this. Up here it is in the corner. And this is my private Trello board. Now, I've de-identified some things here. So one of the things you'll notice, these are called lists. So the lists, the things that are constant, these are things that I believe in. These are things that I want to make sure I read every day. I want to make sure that I keep the important things in mind. It's very helpful when I come up with something that I believe in. I support access to mental health by supporting counselors. How do I support counselors? I create resources. How do I reduce friction to those resources? I make them accessible through memberships and Texas Counselor. So I create everything I talk that I try to walk goes here. 2022 goals, you'll see they're color coded. The ones that have to do with numbers and sales and money, that's going to be orange. The lighter orange is health, and then purple is, let me take that back. Let's see. Yeah, red and orange, those are sales. See, I even get my own colors mixed up. This is a good time of year to get this shit organized, honestly. Marie Kondo, the goals. And then I have relationship goals. Now I drill down in December, and now you see that I only have a few goals, but my goal is to have something from each category. Now you notice there's not a relationship goal there. That's because my husband and I took a fabulous trip in November and it was wonderful. We drove to Florida. We had a great time. And so December, we've got some health goals. We've got some financial goals. Now, it's funny, since I've started the podcast, I have sort of these goals that I'm not able to categorize. And so I'm calling them reduce friction goals. And that's access to me. And so I have to come up with a new color and figure out how to measure that. But those are the ones now, the sprint, those are kind of the weekly goals. Those are things like, okay, I got to get them done this week. If I don't get them done this week, I put them over here on hold. And then if it's a bottleneck, that just means that I'm waiting on something. So we have a lot of recordings here because I'm waiting on the transcriptionist to get back to me. So it's like, okay, I'm not putting them on my list. They're on somebody else's list, but I need to keep them in front of me. And then, of course, there's the almighty done list right there, which I am just going to let you peek at. Oh, I'm so proud of that list. I love done. Done's so beautiful. All right. So now as I start to look at these and I Marie Kondo my goals, that's when we get to Canva. All right. So Canva is super cool because you can put in these collages. And that's all I did. I took a collage program and I created my vision board. And this is what is my lock screen on my computer. So I wanted to build a team a mastermind group list, got that. My goal was to, like Dave Ramsey says, to have an emergency fund. And so my husband and I, we built up an emergency fund, super proud of that. Podcast is up and has downloads. We tried to book Big Bend, and I think we're going to do that in February, but those were some goals that I wanted in Q4. And so I just kind of came up with some pictures. Picture of people talking around a notebook. There's a picture of our podcast logo, a picture of Big Bend, picture of money growing. So all of these things are coming at me when I unlock my screen. And I think I have it on a couple of computers. So if I want to build, which I will build my Q1, my Q1 board with this same idea. So I think I can put in, let's see, vision board. Yeah, there we go. There it is. So they have some ready-made ones. So if I wanted to do just something like that, yes, add it as a new page, it would slide down here and I would just put some pictures in from the interwebs and I can create my own writing. Sometimes I don't like their writing all the time because I need writing I can see, without these guys. So that's another goal. I want to use reasonable fonts instead of these fancy fonts that I can't read. So this Canva is sort of our last step, right? We take it from the journal, the brain dump, to Trello. We're going to have those actionable goals, and then we're going to make it pretty by turning it into Canva. But the key is the M in SMART goals: specific, measurable, trackable, attainable goals, right? Very, very important that you put out there something that you can measure. All right, I'm going to review a little bit. I want to make sure we have questions, or if we do. So my goal today was take you through 4 categories: wealth, sales, health, and well-being. I wanted you to understand the journaling process a little bit. I'm sure you have your own. How to dump it into Trello if you like. I love Trello, but there are other programs out there. And then, of course, pretty it all up by making it Canva, because our brain likes pretty. It likes something different. And if you keep it just going on repeat, like I've done with my movie up here, sometimes your brain stops seeing it. So that's the end of this training. I'm going to go ahead, and the recording is paused. I'm grabbing the recording on Facebook, but I am going to stop the live stream. So if you were watching me on live stream, thank you for watching. I'm going to turn it off, and I'm just going to go to the questions to the folks who are here. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys after my birthday, because I'm not going to be, next week will be pre-recorded. I think I said that already, with David Frank, the counselor financial advisor. So look for that next Thursday. All right, guys, have a wonderful holiday. I'll see ya. Stop.